Well, let's talk to Nusrat Mehtab, who's with the former Scotland Yard superintendent, of course. We've had an awful lot of crime stories around of late, not least that terrible night of sort of rioting over in Cardiff last night, where loads of cars got torched, a few police officers were injured. We've also had, of course, vehicle thefts up 25%, as criminals are using a variety of high-tech methods to steal different cars. So, you know, there's a lot to talk about. Nusrat, very good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Mike.
I mean, I was watching with sort of horror last night as the scenes unfolded over in Cardiff, because we've never really seen anything like that in this country for a while, and it makes you wonder whether we're going to see more of it.
I think we are, and you're absolutely right. When I looked at the footage as well, it was absolutely horrendous. Now, that's emanated from maybe false reports on the media that police were involved in a car chase where two teenagers died. But that's still under investigation.
Yeah.
It was on social media that these rumours were fueled, and all these people have come out to create these scenes, which we really don't need and don't help. But you're right, there's a wider discontent going on, Mike, within our society, with the cost of living, poverty, youth not having enough spaces to go and, you know, socialise or do what they have to do. But, Mike, that's no excuse for what they've done. It's horrendous.
No, of course not.
That there's a decay in our wider society and that really has to be tackled. But I certainly think this will be a summer of discontent, and we are unfortunately going to see this. Now, the police are investigating the whole incident, really, to see where these rumours have come from, because according to them, they weren't actually involved in a car chase. So some things happened, and I think that once they investigate, look at the social media, and I hope the perpetrators are actually, you know, found and held to account, because we cannot have this, Mike, on the street.
Because, I mean, the last time we had sort of large-scale rioting and looting and all of that, I think it was about 2011, wasn't it? The one that sort of kicked off in Tottenham.
Yes, I mean, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, and we haven't really seen anything like that. But it's one of these things that can sort of catch fire, can't it? Suddenly it happens in another city. Suddenly, you know, somebody else gets upset about something. Suddenly they're looting shops and they're setting fire to cars and chucking rocks at the police. You know, it can take off quite quickly.
Well, it can, and I think the police need to kind of, they've come out with a statement which is really good, because the police have to put out the counter-narrative that, no, this wasn't involved in a police chase. But I think it's just an excuse, Mike. They just need an excuse. Tomorrow there'll be something else that will start. Right. So I think, you know, really, it has to be, the deeper issues in society have to be handled. We can't have the summer of discontent now with it hitting off on other cities as well, with something really small taking off. This is horrendous what happened to those two teenagers, but the reaction from that is so very wrong. Yeah.
So what do the police do in these situations then, in terms of, you know, making sure that there isn't that kind of unbridled aggression that's sort of sitting just below the surface? I mean, how can they find out if that's going on?
Well, I mean, police do monitor social media. So this is all started from social media and the rumours that went on for social media. I think, you know, police generally do monitor social media, so they could have stepped in quicker. But this situation evolved really quickly, Mike. It went from social media, the car crash, to people coming out and basically being thugs and rioting and looting without even having the right information at hand. But there is an anti-police feeling as well that's really suited. And I think, you know, they're just bubbling on the surface. So let's hope that police investigate, get all the images of those people that were involved, and send out a strong, clear message that if you behave like this, it will come after you. They also need to look at the social media, who spread those rumours. And I think social media has a big part to play, but so do the social media companies.
Yes, but I mean, there is a sense, isn't there, for an awful lot of people when they talk about the police, that the police are not really in a position to win or to lose. They're just kind of getting battered from every point wherever they try and do things, you know, because crime is up, you know, car theft is up, as we were saying, 25%. Using high-tech methods. A friend of mine had a car stolen, quite an expensive car, because they just literally, you know, recorded the frequency that you would use to get into the car without a key, you know, and then they just drove off in it.
Yeah, I mean, that's not a new method. That's been going on for a long time with you know, high-value cars.
Yeah, but they seem to be doing it a lot more now.
Yeah, I mean, because it's become, you know, they're ahead of the game, and they're always car thieves are always trying to find new ways. Manufacturers need to as well take big responsibility because they have to come up with new systems and processes to stop this. But as soon as they come up with something, the car thieves are a step ahead. And unfortunately, this will go on. But the responsibility for a high-valued car, if you're paying so much money, rests with the manufacturers to come out with something a little bit more complicated than allowing somebody to go outside your house and kind of take their laptop and be able to download and then be able to open your car. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's not just very high valued car. They do it to other cars as well. And you're saying about this, car theft rising. In my own area where I live, part of the neighbourhood watch, we get all the crime reports coming in. Absolutely horrendous. Every single car is targeted, but it's also joyriding as well. They'll target old cars as well as new. But cars, 25% up, burglaries up, all those things are up. And the police can't always fight if vehicle crime is up. They can go and give advice, crime prevention advice to people.
Yes.
But when you're dealing with thieves that are really quite sophisticated and they want these high value cars and they're able to come up and keep one step ahead of the manufacturers and the police, there's a real problem. There
really is, and there's a big problem in solving any of these crimes as well, because as much as some people end up getting their cars back, a lot of people don't, never see them again. They presumably get shipped off somewhere overseas.
Yeah. The thing is, car theft isn't a police priority. There are many, many other things. Violence against women and girls, generally, the increase in violence, and there's still a very terrorist threat as well. So car theft, bike theft, burglaries are not a police priority. It's to do with resources, and we've always said that. But it's also to do with experience and workloads. There's too many young police officers coming in. But Mike, 84% of policing isn't about solving crime. And policing and solving crime are really not synonymous anymore, because the majority of the work of the police force out there now is social services. It's looking after the mental health crisis that we have, because other services are not able to deal with it. Police shouldn't be the first port of resort. They should be the last port of resort, or when they get to a situation there, they should be able to direct people, signpost them, involve other partner agencies. But we haven't got that. So when you look at crime being high and it's not a priority, it's because they have to do other things. And if 84% isn't about solving crime, what is it that they're doing, and how can we make that so actually 84 to 100% is about solving crime?
Yeah, because I mean, we looked at a piece of footage this morning, I don't know whether you saw it, of the Just Stop Oil protesters in Blackfriars Bridge, and at one point a guy gets out of the car, this is happening more and more often, and starts like pushing the Just Stop Oil protesters out of the way. The police end up arresting him and being quite heavy-handed with him while they're letting the others do what they want to do, And I think people are getting frustrated at the lack of action by the police in these situations, and now they're arresting what I would say are the wrong people.
Well, they've been given new powers, haven't they, with the new powers to stop protesting. But it's all about, it's about disruption. So those new powers can be used. And I agree with you that there's a little bit more that the police can do to stop this kind of thing, because the right to protest is enshrined. We all agree that it's enshrined in our society. People have a right to protest, and it's actually quite a positive cause. But when it disrupts everybody's normal life, then police have to act to make sure that they don't, that they arrest these people, let them protest, they're out there, done your job, now arrest them and take them off so people can enjoy their normal life.
Well, that's the thing. Because if they don't start doing that, people are going to start getting annoyed, and there's going to be more breaches of the peace. There's going to be more people, getting into fights in the street, which they can't have happening either.
Well, no, because it's civil disorder. But I think there has to be a balance with a person's right to protest, which, we uphold, and also the right to allow people to go about their normal business in a safe environment. Now, the police have been given new powers, and it's about them using those powers to work with the protesters so they know. But this disruption can't take place, because certainly, if you're in traffic, you want to get somewhere, hospital appointments, visiting people in hospital, it's all, we have to take that into consideration. It's not about suppressing protest. It's about thinking about how can we protect the rights of other people, and it's balancing the two.
Absolutely. Nusrat, good to talk to you. Thank you very much indeed. Nusrat Mehtab there, former Scotland Yard superintendent. Because there will be now more and more of these situations where people take the law into their own hands. If the police aren't going to stop these people from getting in the way of your car or your lorry or your van and your work, then you're going to do it.